The FBI NBA investigation. Chauncey Billups, you're an idiot. Let's try it right here. Terry Rozier, you're an idiot. Okay, Kevin Garnett, you're an idiot. This is the problem. This is the problem. You have paper. You have paper. People do this when they have nothing, and this is their chance to have something. You have it. Chauncey Billups, Kevin Garnett, you're Hall of Famers, bro. Terry Rozier's not in that conversation, but KG, bro, come on, man.
Seen everything without an eye, baby. I can never let it slide, won't get it past me. Yeah, baby.
Damn. Damn, I hate that shit, man. Has to fix itself.
I guess they made it clear, yeah. I'm Fetty Wap, they gon' remember me. I'm Fetty Wap, they gon' remember me, baby. I'm Fetty Wap, they gon' remember me. Even my enemies need my energy. Yeah.
Oh my God, and just like that. They always forget that I'm a singer first, an entertainer second, a podcaster third, and an all-around good human being. First and foremost, we're coming back with that news, and it's guess what? You know it is Cody's Corner. Listen, I had a little technical difficulty in the first. You might hear it, you might not, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome officially to Cody's Corner. Cody's week-by-week hot takes and who's going to take the W in the sports you're worried about. Got a little solo episode, trying a little different setup. Didn't want to be looking right at you like you were in the principal's office. You feel me? It's kind of like, hey, come on over and take a little look at what's going on hot and what's as of lately. I'm really trying to get like right into NFL for the week. So I'm going to try and go through this little note right here as fast as I can. The FBI NBA investigation. Chauncey Billups, you're an idiot. Let's try it right here. Terry Rozier, you're an idiot. Okay, Kevin Garnett, you're an idiot. This is the problem. This is the problem, is that you got all these people, right? And I'm not them, and they are not I. But you got all these people that are millionaires, potentially billionaires. You're throwing NBA games. You're hosting illegal poker games. You're cheating in the illegal poker games. Cut it out, bro. Cut it out. You have paper. You have paper. People do this when they have nothing, and this is their chance to have something. You have it. Chauncey Billups, Kevin Garnett, you're Hall of Famers, bro. Terry Rozier's not in that conversation, but KG, bro, come on, man. This is childish stuff, man. Look, and this is just my opinion. You might think I'm wrong. I gotta tell you how I feel. I can't tell you how they feel. Maybe at one point in time they'll be able to come out with a statement, tell you how they feel. But I can't tell you that. That's okay, bro. Like, here we go. Let's look at my notes. This is what bugged me out. There was crime families involved. I know, listen, y'all could look it up if you don't want me to put a clip up, which I might or I might not, who knows, of the FBI stating that there was 3 different crime families involved. Mob, like, affiliation type shit. What year is this, bro? Like, yo, I thought all this went away with The Godfather in that time. No, man. It's easy. It's easy to think that these things aren't happening because they're no longer the topic of conversation in media. The Godfather, The Sopranos, you know what I'm saying? Even like anyone that watches The Penguin on HBO Max, like that's kind of like mafia-like, Gotham mafia activity, whatever. Excuse me. I think that that's just like ridiculous, man. I think that at this day and age of sports betting and gambling, casinos, wagering of any sort, as an American citizen, I would hope that when I'm looking to put money in or just make a friendly wager among friends, you know, why does there have to be mafia affiliation involved, bro? It doesn't make any sense to me. And this is someone, you know, coming from New Jersey. Obviously, it's the stereotype, the mob, whatever, bro. I'm not trying to feel. I don't want to see that on my TV anymore, bro. Like, how could this still be going on? It's a shame. It's a shame. But we can get away from that. David has, from beyond, sent me a clip. Not a clip, but he, I'm gonna start that over. All right, so moving on from that, I think that I'm looking at right here, David from beyond has sent me his top 5 wide receiver list as of this week in the NFL, right? I'm going to put it up right here. 1, 2, 3. Bam! It's there. He lists in this order: Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Njigba, CeeDee Lamb. Okay, not a bad list. Group-wise. What was my argument to him? Something, his exact words were, listen to my list and let it simmer. It's been simmering, sizzling, burning in my veins, and Njigba needs to be 1. I don't know if that's bold for me to say. I understand CD's on the list. He hasn't even been playing most of the year, right? We're going to look side by side. You know what? Matter of fact, this is a show where we do stuff like this. So let's figure this out really quick. 1. Okay. Wide receiver. NFL stats this year. Okay. We do stuff like this. Oh, who's number 1 on this list? Come on, stop playing, bro. It's like I know what I'm talking about, man. On my mother, I've not looked at this list, bro. Number 1, Smith-Njigba, bro. 70 targets, 819 receiving yards. So this was, all right, I'm so glad that Chase and Njigba are the 1 and 2 because this lines up my argument perfectly. And I'm glad that Puka's on this list this year. Okay. So this was obviously, I'm assuming, David going off preference. Statistics included, but not the full bias on what his list was in order. But I'm looking at 1 and 2, right? And my whole argument to him was, I think that Njigba needs to be 1, bro. He's going absolutely crazy this year. I saw a stat, and it's not going to show it here, but he's averaging 115 yards per game. And it's week 8. You know what that is, bro? He's on pace to break the record for most receiving yards in a season, formerly held by Calvin Johnson himself, bro. And he wasn't even a big name that people were looking at last year. Yeah, okay, the Seahawks traded DK to Pittsburgh, so you kind of assume that they're going to let Njigba take on this bigger role. But nobody thought it was going to be this. Nobody. Hindsight bias is a motherfucker, right? Anybody could look at these stats right now and have said to themselves, you know what? Maybe I saw this coming all along. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And I don't care how good you were at following his stats in college. Nobody in the right mind thought he would have more receiving yards than Jamar Chase and Puka Nacua come this time of this year. Get out of here. If Jamar Chase had 58, I'm sorry, I was looking at the target. So let me look at the catches. It took Njigba 50 catches to get to 819, and it took Jamar 58 catches to get to 629, right? So that means, by this math, 58 to 629 equals X to 819. So this will give us the number to how many catches it would take for Jamar Chase to reach the amount of receiving yards that Njigba has right now. So it'd be 58X. No. Fuck. Too high for this. It would be 629X equals 58 times 819. So we can pull over to my calculator really quick. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, an Android, shut the fuck up. 58 times 819 is 4,000. Okay, copy that number and then divide it. Oh no. So now I'm gonna paste that number. Divided by 629. Okay, easy. So I did the math. That means that it took Njigba 58. Fuck, man. I'm tweaking right now. It's this pencil. This pencil has like no. Hold on. That's just bugging me out. Alright, that was bugging me out. You ever try to write with a pencil that the point won't come out, so now you're like pressing mad hard? Whatever. So, it took Njigba 50 catches to get to 819, where it would have took Jamar Chase 75 catches to get to 819. That's a crazy stat. That's live math. You feel me? We got something going on enough to follow who's good and who's not. Am I saying Jamar Chase is bad? Absolutely not. Still got you on my fantasy, my boy. You do what you got to do, because even I did not expect Njigba to produce more than you statistically. I'm sorry. It's only week 8. There's a lot left to go. I'm not saying Njigba's, the all-time, you feel me? Is he that? No, but he's the best one so far. So, if we can have that right there. So the rest of his list, as it's popped up, there's not that they're not performing well, because there's still multiple of them in this list right here. So he had Njigba, which is correct. He had Chase, which is correct. And he had Justin Jefferson, which is correct. He did not account for Puka Nacua or George Pickens. He said Amon-Ra, which is number 6. And let's see, what was the other one he said? 1, 2, 3, 4. CD. Yeah, okay. Where the fuck is he? Let's take a look. We have technology. Watch this. Finding page. Lamb. 41st. And everybody's going to say, yeah, but he was hurt. Yeah, I understand. But if you're saying look, the argument was top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now. What do we always say about sports? What have you proven to me lately? And lately, CD has been at healing on the sideline, on the bench, not on the grass, So, did he play again last week and he had a great game? Yes. Which is why, okay, you can kind of validate that. Even if he was hurt, he would have been doing this. We don't know. So, that has to be incorporated in the conversation. As I sip my orange soda. Let's get right into it. I'm done playing around. Let's get into ESPN. So, we'll go game by game as well. First NFL scores. That's how we do things around here. The Jets-Bengals. The Jets, I don't even want to talk about them, being honest. The CB. I keep forgetting my speaker's always on. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall, all out. Justin Fields was benched for Tyrod Taylor. Now Tyrod Taylor's dealing with his own injury. The season's over. Wrap it up. Put it back in the bag. Ship it out. Whatever you got to do, man. Kick your feet up. If you enjoy the sport because of the Jets, it's not your year. If you enjoy the sport because of the sport, it's an amazing season of football right now, all around. And I think that, if you're watching as a fandom-centered fan, it's not the one for you. I'm sorry, man. So, we'll just move past the Jets right now. One thing that is interesting that came up was, and it might affect what's going on in this Eagles game. Giants Eagles, they kind of have their own projected fantasy parlay here. The Giants are plus 320 over the Eagles. Daboll just got fined, and Scatterbull just got fined, and the New York Jets in their entirety just got fined because of how they handled Jackson Dart's protocol when Jackson Dart, in one of his most previous games, was sent to the blue tent for potential concussion. You saw Daboll go in the blue tent, not allowed. You saw Scatterbull go in the tent, not allowed. So it's kind of like it wanted to almost look as though it was normalizing what has now been a really serious protocol in the NFL, which is how they monitor and handle concussions and the overall safety of players, because concussions are a big issue in the NFL. Especially for quarterbacks, like obviously they take, like with Tua, all the stuff going on with Tua. You can't talk about concussions without talking about Tua Tagovailoa today, in my perspective. I mean, there are people that have had worse. There's people that have had worse injury in football due to head injury. But all in all, it has to be spoken about. And so I believe the number was Daboll got fined $100K. Scatterbull got fined, I think, $15K, and then the entire the entire New York Giants got fined, I think it was $200K. So this is a very serious matter, and they got fined for it, unfortunately. We're taking a look right here. I'm just gonna tell you the hot games of the week. All of them are like, one's good, one's bad. The Ravens are kind of playing like really horribly, so. Is this the game that they figure it out against the Bears? Maybe. The Panthers and the Bills low-key have the same record, which is kind of wild. So maybe that's going to be a good game. Who knows? Here we go. Commanders and Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Hey, that's a good game right there. And the Vikings-Chargers, I thought it was going to be a better game, and then the Chargers started blowing them out, started getting awkward. Maybe the Cowboys and the Broncos may be a good one, because the Broncos have been playing very well defensively, and the Cowboys are extremely good offensively, so maybe this might be like a shootout kind of game, or it might be a slow game. Like, it could be that the Broncos shut down the Cowboys, and then, oh man, maybe the Broncos just start going crazy. This could be a good game at 4:30, so let's pick a 1 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, in a prime time. My 1 o'clock definitely has to be Bears-Ravens. And then one of my 4 o'clocks has to be Cowboys Broncos. And then, I mean, Packers Steelers is also good. It should be a good game. It should be a good game. Commanders and Chiefs I like a lot, though. So, with that being said, we're gonna hop right into fantasy. I've been dying to talk about it, if I'm being honest. So I had to bench Breece Hall, right? Go to Q. Take a look at him. Where was his news? It's listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Bengals. Yeah. So I, as a safety net, have had to be resourceful with my bench, and I started Ramondre Stevenson. It looks like Brandon, on the other side of the ball, had to bench Kyron Williams because he has a bye week, and he's looking to start somebody else. He's already projected a 65% chance to lose to me. I had Ladd McConkey put up 20 points, which is extremely good for me, and it makes me feel confident going into the full weekend, as that happened on Thursday. So I've kind of been sitting on that 20, for a little while. Other than that, obviously, I like, if, let's say he decides to put whoever in that RB2 spot, I think it's too late to make a trade, so that means he would probably end up having to start Justice Hill or no, Thornton. No. Yeah, he would probably end up having to start Justice Hill unless he picks up someone off the waiver. Let's see who's the best player on the waiver. Tajay Spears, which might not be a super bad pickup if I was him, but, why would I be helping him right now? So then let's say I like Ramondre Stevenson more than Tajay Spears. So then, and I would say I like Saquon more than I like Rachaad White. But Rachaad White and Saquon they're estimated exactly the same. So you would have to assume that I like my running back room more. My one receiver already put up 20, but Devontae Smith is coming off a 33-point game, so that might be a really good one. He's projected more than DK Metcalf going into this week, which is super interesting. I'm gonna be honest with Sauce Gardner out, Jamar Chase might have like the game of his life. So maybe he's coming for that one spot in Jigba. Who knows? Ferguson and Tucker Kraft. I think Ferguson is going up against a harder defense than Pittsburgh. They're both good defenses, but I have more confidence in Pittsburgh than I would have in Denver as a tight end this week. He's going double tight end, sticking it to Tyler Warren against Tennessee. And honestly, Roma Dunze is coming off a really slow week, but Baltimore secondary really isn't that good, so there's a chance that they pick it up this week. I like my flex more. So with all that said to you, and the fact that he's starting C.J. Stroud, I'm going to plead the fifth on mine, but you know where I'm going with that one. Let's keep it moving. You got Joe Foreign 1-6 against Kelvin at 4-3. This one's kind of interesting as well. I think Daniel Jones has been lighting up the NFL, but Joe Flacco is also coming off a great game, so maybe he can continue that flow in New York. Excuse me. You got H.N. going against Atlanta, which could be a little more difficult. And then Jalen Warren might have a hard game against Green Bay. It looks like Jordan Mason, unfortunately, already had 1.6 points. I was watching that game myself. I have Jordan Mason in another league, Joey, and it was sad to watch, bro. They kind of didn't really let him do anything, evidently. 3 yards, which is insane, right? And then Justin Jefferson already had 14, and Jordan Addison already had 11 on this side of the ball. So it looks like the early week for Kelvin is putting him in the plus box. But that doesn't mean that the week is over. Maybe the rest of your team has the chance to go crazy, right? So, I like Kelvin's tight end more. Joey's starting Christian Watson, who is out. So I hope that he figures that one out. That means he would have to start. Wow, his team is going through it, huh? That Joey, listen, you're 1-6. We've had this conversation privately, but don't give up. Don't give up. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a whole lot of football left. How many more games we got? There's 14 total, and you're 1-6. There's 8. For those that don't know, there's 8 playoff spots in this fantasy. Just make it to 8th, bro. That's all I'm saying. Maybe some of these people come out of the grave for you, and you could make it happen. I don't know if you're gonna make it happen this week. I'm sorry, give me Kelvin. So we got Caillou against PD. PD already received 13 from Chargers DST and 18.7 from Gadsden the second, which is a record game. But then Cameron Dicker on the other side of the ball put up 14, which is fairly high for a kicker. You gotta say that you like Bo Nix more than Marcus Mariota. I mean, who doesn't? Christian McCaffrey came off a great game where Derrick Henry isn't playing so hot as of lately. Scatterboo potentially could have a really bad game against Philly, where Tony Pollard is Tony Pollard. Zay Flowers. This is hard. This is a lineup right here. I think Cortland Sutton could have a great game, or Zay Flowers may have a really bad game. So I like that matchup more for PD. And then Egbuka against New Orleans can be amazing, where Wan'Dale Robinson. So Caillou has a little receiver problem, it seems like right now, but I like his running backs way more, so that's a big plus. You see that his flex already dropped 18.7, so that is a hard act to follow, and he's starting Mason Taylor from the Jets. I hope they know who their quarterback is, so that could be a really bad move for Caillou. Other than that, I like DJ Moore more than Booty. So, man, bro, this is a hard one because without the points listed here, I probably would have said Caillou, but then he already had his DST do a lot and a flex name I've never heard that did a lot. So that could really balance out this scale for Petey. I want to say Caillou still pulls it off. What is each 123 to 125? I think Caillou still pulls this off. I don't know. I don't think that. I think Petey's running backs are gonna screw him this week, unfortunately, because everyone else kind of did what they had to do. But I think that's exactly what's gonna happen this week. There you go. You got Ronnie against Albert. One is 3-4, one's 2-5. I guess they're fighting to be even this week. Quentin Johnston put up 0, which is a shame. Really, really a shame. And this is where the bye weeks really start kicking people's ass. Albert's bench is looking like in sync. Bye. It's kind of crazy. So we got Baker Mayfield against New Orleans. Divisional battle could go crazy. Josh Allen. Honestly, Carolina's secondary has been proven to be somewhat admirable. So maybe Josh Allen has a slower day, but maybe a lot more with his legs. I could see that happening. Chase Brown against the Jets could have a not so good day. That's one thing that they're pretty okay about is their rushing defense. Bijan Robinson against Miami. That has potential to be hard too. I don't know, man. This is hard. Actually, no. I think he might go crazy. Actually, Miami kind of running backs. Yeah, never mind. Alvin Kamara against Gainwell. I'm definitely gonna lean towards Kamara in this instance, even though it is a divisional battle. Green Bay already has a rushing defense, and Gainwell is not the solution. So I like Albert's running backs more. Then you have the fact that Ronnie's starting receiver already put up 0, and Chris Olave is coming off a good game. So I'm gonna have to unfortunately say I like Albert's receivers more as well. That's a big turn. I like Goddard more than Mark Andrews, but I like but Deebo Samuel's coming off an injury, no, if I'm not mistaken. A heel injury. He practiced in full on Thursday. So I gotta say I like Deebo more. Yeah, unfortunately, unless the rest of Ronnie's team really cares for this donut that he has in the middle of the screen, I gotta go with Albert. You got Noel at 3-4, catching the W over me against Obi at 2-5. Obi had a good start on Vidal at 19.7, and that is kind of like what's leaning this towards being more even. It looks like I like that. To be honest, I think that Obi's team is just like going through the works right now. It wasn't a bad draft, but now he has Rashee Rice, which could be like a really strong second half urge of the season. You got Jalen Hurts against New York, who may have a harder day. Dak Prescott against Denver could also have a harder day, so that's kind of even. You got Jonathan Taylor against Tennessee, who could have a really good game, and Woody Marks against San Francisco, who could have a really slow game. So I'm going to lean towards Noel on that one. Then Vidal put up 19. Do I think J.K. Dobbins can put up 19 against Dallas? Yes. So for now, I'm going to lean towards Obi, but I think that J.K. Dobbins could match that. So right now, the running back room goes towards Noel for sure. CeeDee Lamb against Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is going after a hard defense in Cleveland. But so is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's coming off an injury, obviously, but he had a good game last week. I think I'd be more confident, honestly, on CeeDee Lamb in Denver than it would be of Stephon Diggs in Cleveland. So leaning towards Noel 3 times. Xavier Worthy in Washington could have a great game. But Rashee Rice is also back, so he could be taking away some of that volume. We still don't know. And then McMillan in Buffalo. Buffalo has a good defense. This is a hard one. I'm going to assume just because of wide receiver depth, I'm going to say McMillan probably wins this battle. Because I honestly think Rashee Rice is going to take that volume away from Worthy. So that's one for Obi. Travis Kelce against Njoku. Kelce, hands down. That's another one for Obi. Rashee Rice over Pittman. Ooh, this is hard. How many points did Rashee Rice have last week? 23.2. That was his first game all year. That's so hard to judge by though. Pittman's been killing it as well though. 19, 15, 14. Let's look at the full one. 20, 19, 15, 14. All right, so he's had 2 games where he was at less than 15. Let's say 14.9. You know, kill me. But only 2 games that is less than that, and they're playing against Tennessee. Both of them are going against a pretty bad defense. I'm going to say give me Pittman. So I'm going to go Noel. I think that Noel can pull this off. Unless Rashee Rice has like another outstanding game, which he easily could. I'm going to say give me Noel. All right, and last but not least, we got David. Someone needs to take down David. Okay, so after this, hold on, I'm going to show you really quick. Before we get into David's team. This is the setup for this week. 3-way tie for second between me, Caillou, and Petey. And David's in first. He's the only one that has 1 loss. So it's 3 with 2, 1 with 3, 4 with 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 with 4, 2 with 5, and 1 with 6. That's why Joey's kind of like, I guess, giving up. But I'm gonna say we need to bring David back down to earth, man. So if we can go back to this really quick. David did have a good start with 25 from Justin Herbert. It could be a really good game for James Cook. Chuba Hubbard might have a slower game. How many points did he have? Because I know that the Rico Dowdle thing, he only dropped 7 against New York. So that's not a good look for Chuba Hubbard. And Keenan Allen also had a slow game. So this is kind of like evening out a little bit. Let's keep going down the line. Josh Jacobs or James Cook. I would lean towards James Cook just because I think Josh Jacobs has TJ Watt to worry about. And I think that is a factor to think about, even though he is fantastic. So 1 for Alex. Excuse me. 1 for David. And then we got Javonte Williams or Chuba Hubbard. Javonte Williams. 1 for Alex. I would have said George Pickens anyway. And then Keenan Allen went ahead and had an 8-point game. 2 for David. Romeo Doubs or Josh Downs? Romeo Doubs going against a harder defense. He did just drop 13 in Arizona. It's not a bad look. Let's go to Josh Downs. I don't think he's been playing as high. He dropped 16 last week, so it's gradually getting higher, and the Colts have never been more successful since Peyton Manning. So this is a hard one. I'm going to lean towards Josh Downs just because of matchups. In most cases, it would have been Romeo Doubs. But in this case, I'm going to say Josh Downs. Evan Ingram or George Kittle. George Kittle, did he even do a lot last week? No, he didn't. He did nothing last week. But maybe it's because this is the first time the listener was active. Ease him back in, playing against Houston. Easier defense. Evan Ingram also going against a very easy defense. But Evan Ingram has had some stride where George Kittle has been hurt all year. So I would put, this is hard. I would have switched it. I would have put Judkins as my tight end 1. I mean, it doesn't matter, but George Kittle, I feel like is going to have more flex points than he would starting tight end points, if that makes any sense. So if I were to look at it that way, well, Judkins isn't a tight end, but you know what I mean. This is a hard one. I'm gonna have to go with Ingram on this one. I think Ingram has a better game, and George Kittle, maybe he's not fully back. I mean, he's back. He's on the field. He's dressed. He's lining up. But is he? You know, he's been through so many injuries, so you don't know what's gonna happen. Khalil Shakir, I like more against Carolina than I like Judkins against New England. The defenses, I like Bills DST against Carolina more than I like 49ers DST against Houston. Even though Houston has been nothing, Carolina has been less than that. So that's pretty even. So right now, going down this list, this could be a close one. I think Alex could do it, man. Like, it's not even, maybe it's because I also want it to happen. And it's hard. It's hard to see that with the 8.4 from Keenan Allen, but I think Alex could do it, bro. Yo, give me Alex, man. So, wrap it up right there. Listen, man. As always, I always appreciate you guys listening, tuning into what I got going on. Tune in for next week as we dive into week 9. Like and subscribe, and as always, I'll see ya.
Give it to me.